Hey guys, what's up? It's Michael. Today I will be sharing a story with you of something that happened last week when I got pulled over by the police super late at night, and it was just a completely sketchy situation. So before I get into this video, I just want to say a few things. As I said in the beginning of the video, my name is Michael. I have been living out of my car for the past like 7.5, 8 months. I'm doing this by choice because I want to. I haven't made a video as to why, but I will, just so that you know I am choosing to live in my car for certain reasons, but that's not really important to this video. I just wanted to kind of state that. So if you come across this video and you're kind of wondering what I do on this channel, I am basically like living out of my car, and I'm trying to travel and just be happier and help my mental health. So yeah. So anyways, I ended up making a video about getting not really pulled over by a police officer, but I made a video a while ago where I was sleeping in a hotel parking lot and a police officer was like hidden up against the hotel building, and I woke up. I didn't know he was there. My windows were all fogged and I was trying to wake up and get myself up. It was like, I don't know, like 4 o'clock in the morning. I made a video about that, so make sure you go into my channel if you want to see it. This video is going to be about a recent encounter I had with police. More than one. It was 3, bitch. It was crazy. Let's just get into this. All right, so today is Monday the 19th. This incident happened on Sunday, April 11th, about kind of like 10:30 at night. So I was sitting in a Gabe's parking lot in Sharonville, Ohio. I was just sitting there watching YouTube videos, chilling. I needed to go to the Kroger to get something, so I did. After I got done going to the Kroger, it was like almost 10 o'clock, so I'm like, I need to find a sleeping spot for the night. So I was going to sleep at the Westchester Walmart. Now, obviously, bitch, I didn't tell the police this because I'm not about to tell the police. I'm living out of my car and I'm trying to sleep in the Walmart parking lot. Anyway, so I'm like, all right, let me head towards Westchester's Walmart because I had slept in that parking lot a couple of nights and it was fine. So that's where I was headed to. When I got to Westchester, I realized that I didn't have gas. So I stopped at the Speedway. Mind you, I will show you guys the map so you can get an idea of where I was. I stopped at the Speedway that was right in front of the Walmart and got gas. After I got gas, I was like, oh, it's too early to sleep in the parking lot. So here in Ohio, in Cincinnati, Ohio, the Walmarts close at 11. Some of the staff leaves right then, and then some usually are there 30 minutes to an hour doing their closing. So typically the staff will be coming out for another hour and then you're good. When I sleep in the Walmart parking lots, I wait until an hour after close, because anytime that I go close to close or right after close, the staff would be like leaving to go home and they would see my car and they would call the sheriff. This was another time I got the police called on me. But that's the reason why I wait a little later to get into the parking lot, just so that I don't raise suspicion and no one calls the police on me. So it's probably about 10 o'clock at this point, maybe a little after, and I'm like, it's probably too early to get into the Walmart parking lot. I wanted to go closer to like 10:30, 11, probably like 11. So I'm like, oh, well, I'll see if White Castle's open. There's a White Castle literally like right next to the Walmart. So I'm like, I'll go to White Castle real quick and then we'll come over by the Walmart and kind of chill until it's time to get into our sleeping spot. So I go down this small road, and I'm going to show you on the map. I go down this small road to see if the White Castle's open. Nope, it's closed. So I pull out onto the main road, Cincinnati, Dayton. It's dark. There isn't any like lights, and I'm never in Westchester, Ohio, so I'm not really familiar with the roads, especially at night. I'm never in Westchester, Ohio at night, so I don't know the roads. For the officer that's like, you're driving really slow. So I pull back out to Cincinnati Dayton Road, and then I'm like, oh, I'm kind of hungry. And I'm like, no, Michael, you don't really need anything. And so I see the Sonic, and I'm like, I think I'll go get some Sonic. So I'm like, is Sonic open? So I start driving slow, looking over at the Sonic, and I'm like, is it open? I can't tell. Mind you, it's a little past 10 o'clock at night, so I'm like, I don't know what's open. I don't know what's not, but I'm kind of hungry. So then I'm like, all right, we'll go to Sonic. So I'm driving slow, and I'm like looking for the turn lane to like turn back in. I don't really see it, and I'm like, I don't know if there's one. I'm like, yeah, last minute I'm like, yeah, there is one. I don't use my turn signal and I just turn in. Right as I'm turning in, this cop hits his lights right off the bat, and I'm like, I didn't really know why I was getting pulled over at first, which is crazy because I didn't use my turn signal, but I knew I didn't do anything serious. So I pull over. Now I actually ended up recording my interaction with the police, so I'm going to insert it into video now.
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good.
Alright, the reason I'm stopping you, one, you're driving extremely slow.
Yeah, I was looking for the turn to turn in here. I didn't know if it turned before the highway up there.
What's that?
I was looking for this turn in here.
Okay.
The lane to turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the other reason is too, you didn't use the turn signal when you got over.
Yeah.
So, everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay. You got an ID on you?
Yeah, I do.
So where are you going to?
I was just pulling into here. I was heading over to Sonic.
To Sonic?
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you coming from?
I just came from down by like Sharonville.
Sharonville?
Yeah.
You're clear.
Where in Sharonville?
Excuse me, over by the Gabe's.
By Gabe's?
Yeah.
Okay. How'd you get over here?
I drove over here.
Okay. Have you had anything to drink?
No.
No?
No.
You smoke anything?
No.
Okay. Anything illegal in the car?
No.
Okay, would you grant me consent to search the vehicle?
No, sir.
No? Okay. You got an ID on you? I'm sorry, not an ID. I just need a phone number.
513.
Okay. And what were you doing over in Sharonville?
I was just sitting over there.
You're just sitting over there?
Yeah. I went to the Kroger over there, but I haven't been doing any. I've been doing like Uber Eats and Grubhub, so I was just sitting over there on my phone in the parking lot. Yeah.
Nothing to drink at all?
No. I don't drink.
What's that?
I don't drink.
Nothing?
No.
Ever?
I mean, probably like 5 years ago, but nothing, not like crazy. Like,
Okay.
I've never been like an alcoholic or anything.
Okay. All right. Sit tight for me.
Okay. So after the first police officer gets done talking to me, he goes back to his vehicle. So I shut my camera off, thinking that there's one police officer behind me. That's the only police officer I'm going to deal with. I've only been pulled over about not even a handful of times. The 3 years I've lived in Cincinnati, all of the times I was pulled over in Cincinnati, I never got a ticket, never got charged with anything, and I never had more than one police officer dealing with me. And almost all the times I got pulled over in Cincinnati, which like 3 times, was in Mason, and I never had any issues. The second time I see an officer coming in my rear view mirror, so I turn my camera back on, and I assume it's the first officer that pulled me over. Lo and behold, it was another one, but I didn't know that. So then all of a sudden, homeboy rolls up, and this guy starts talking to me. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the clip of the second officer that pulled up to my window.
Hey, Michael. Name is Officer Minkin Ball with Westchester Township Police Department. You doing okay today?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So what's going on, man?
Nothing. I literally just pulled in here and he hit his lights. I understand that I didn't use my turn signal, but
Where are you going?
I literally was I was actually headed over to the Sonic. Like, I don't know why you're asking me where I'm going. Like I'm going somewhere I'm not supposed to. I was literally going to go over to the Sonic. I was looking for the turn lane and I couldn't see it.
Okay.
And I didn't use my turn signal because I didn't know if there was one or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where are you coming from then?
Well, I was just over in Sharonville.
Where do you live at then? What's your current address?
The one on my ID.
I didn't get to look at it, so I don't know what it is.
It's in yeah.
So what are you doing up here then?
I just drove over here, just got gas, and I was going to go over to Sonic. I've been doing Uber Eats and Grubhub all day.
Oh, okay. Okay. Any drugs, paraphernalia, anything like that inside the car?
No.
Okay, have you had anything to drink or anything like that at all? Okay. Well, Michael, here's what I'm going to have you do. You're not under arrest or anything, but I am going to have you step out of the car because I do want to talk to you outside the car, okay? Do you understand?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm gonna put my window up.
And they got us out here wearing shorts. Man, I'm freezing. You can probably tell how much I'm shaking. You want to step back here? Just want to get you out of the road. You don't get hit by nobody.
Now, mind you, at first I didn't even know that it was a different officer, and until like a few minutes into us interacting, I'm like, oh, this is a different officer, but everything really wasn't connecting. Now, mind you, I have only been pulled over 3 times, probably like 2. I've only been pulled over technically 2 times while living in Cincinnati. This officer asked me to step out of my vehicle. I have absolutely no idea at first why he did that. So I initially had assumed that the reason why he asked me to step out of my vehicle was because he knew that I was recording. I had my camera face flat on my dash facing up, so it was dark. I don't think they seen it. We go over to the back of my car, and like off off of the road onto the sidewalk. He's basically like, you know, asking me like what I'm doing, what am I doing up there? And long story short, he pretty much tells me that they're sending a canine. And I'm like, looking around like, what the f? Like, I'm completely like, what the hell is going on? You got one officer pulled me over, then another one pulls up, and now you're calling a third canine? He was basically telling me like, oh, we get a lot of drug traffickers through here. Cause I was like, do you really think I have drugs in my vehicle? Like, you hear them in the videos like saying, oh, is there any drug paraphernalia in the vehicle? Have you been drinking? Have you been drinking? Have you been drinking? Have you been drinking any drugs, any paraphernalia, any marijuana? And I'm like, no. I was just trying to get something to eat. At this point, I'm like shook up because I've literally never had technically more than 2 police officers dealing with me, but for the most part, it's always only one. The fact that they had 3 deep on me, I'm like on the side of the road, like, what the f is going? Like, I'm thinking they're going to try to plant something in my car. Like, this is sketchy as f. Basically, like talking to me, asking me like where I went to school, you know, trying to be friendly and conversational on the side of the sidewalk. I didn't get a recording of it because I didn't have my phone, obviously, but I could tell based off the way he was speaking to me that he knew they were kind of being a little excessive with it. Like, they didn't have really any reason to believe that I had drugs in my car, and they were being real dumb about it. He's asking me like what I do for work, and I'm like, oh, I'm an Uber Eats and Grubhub driver. And he's like, oh, do you do that? You do that full time? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, do they like pay you gas or something? Like, do they give you gas? And I'm like, not. Or does it just come out? And I'm like, it just comes out of whatever I make. And he's like, that's kind of stupid. And I'm sitting there like, bitch, you got 3 officers deep on me. Like, that's kind of stupid too. Like, we're over here talking about stupid shit. Like, so anyways, the dog doesn't find anything. Canine dude comes over, and I don't even know what he said to me. I don't even know. I think he said something about the dog didn't find anything. Obviously, bitch, he didn't find anything. So then the first officer sitting in his car comes over, and he hands me my ID, and he's like, I don't even fucking know what he was saying, but he's like, you're just kind of all over the road. But I mean, he's not wrong. This car needs a alignment. So the funny thing about this whole situation is I got pulled over for driving slow. This whole stop was just incredibly petty. I told him I was in Sharonville, and he's like, Sharonville? What are you doing down there? You know how they ask you all kinds of questions. He asked me, how'd you get up here? At first, when he had asked me that, I'm like, how did I get from Sharonville to Westchester? I'm going to show you guys a map so you can see where I was and where I went, because it wasn't even far. And if you're familiar with Cincinnati, Ohio, Sharonville and Westchester are like right by each other, so people go to and from all the time. Like, how the fuck do you think I got up there? I drove, duh. When I was playing the video back, I'm like, oh, he asked you how'd I get up here. Oh, hold on, wait, Paul, let me put my southern hat on real quick. He meant what was I doing going to Westchester? So he should have said, what brings you to Westchester? Why did you come up here? But he said, how'd you get up here? I drove. And then as you can see, he's kind of like, from there, he kept asking me if I was on alcohol. Have you drank? Have you drank? Do I sound like I've had anything to drink? I guarantee you I didn't look like I was on drugs. Out of nowhere, asked me, would you grant me consent to search? No. I'm like, no sir, right off the bat. Like, I was shocked. Out of all the times I've ever been pulled over, not a single time have I had questions like thrown at me like, do you have any alcohol? Are you on drugs? Like, will you grant me consent? No. And that's when my brain started thinking something sketchy was going on. Officer nicked his balls. Is that what he said? Hi, I'm Officer nicked his balls with Westchester County Police. I don't really know. This guy was actually pretty sketchy, and he actually kind of lied, and apparently they thought I was stupid, but I'm not. So basically, Officer nicked his balls rolls up on my window, and he addresses me by my name. As you guys can see, he's like, hi, my name's Officer Nick and Balls. I mentioned in the beginning of the video that I live in my car, so obviously I don't have a home address. When I ordered my registration, I used my P.O. box to have them shipped there, but on my registration, my old apartment address is on the registration. On my license, my old apartment address is on my license. So if you're familiar with the police and running tags, please tell me in the comments below. When the police run my tags and I no longer live at my old address, what do they see? Do they see my old address? Like, what comes up? Because anyways, this guy rolls up on me. He dresses me by my name, which means that I had never talked to him. So obviously he had talked to the other officer before. And he's like, where do you live? Like, where's your home? Where's your home at? And I'm like, and you hear me say, it's on my address. And he goes, oh, well, I don't know. I didn't look at your ID. Well, you obviously just talked to the other officer because I didn't talk to you before and you addressed me by my name, which means either A, homeboy told you over the radio what my name was and information about me, or you rolled up to his window and he told you, I can't get an address on this dude, and he showed you my name and everything. So obviously you lied saying that, you know, you didn't look at my ID and you didn't know what was going on. That's a lie. And then obviously I could tell by the way he asked me, like, well, where do you live? Like, he was so confused. The other officer that pulled me over in the hotel parking lot was the same way. He was super confused. He's like, where do you live? Where do you live? Where do you, like, he couldn't get the information. So I'm gonna assume, like, please tell me in the comments below, like, what do they see when they find your address? Because, I mean, clearly they can't get an address on me, which obviously probably raised an alarm in their minds. Like, they probably thought I was sketch. There could be 1,001 reasons why I don't have an address. Like, I could be couch surfing. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, there's logical reasons as to why you may not be able to get an address on me, but they always just assume that you're trafficking drugs. Like, then he asked me, like, what am I doing in Westchester? And I'm like, am I not allowed to come up here? Like, it kind of pissed me off, to be honest, that he was like, what are you doing up here? What the fuck does it matter? I came up here to get gas and to go to Sonic. As long as I'm not breaking the law, I can do whatever I want. And technically I wasn't breaking the law. I went and got some gas and then I was going to go to Sonic, and you're over here pulling me over for driving slow and not using a turn signal and trying to turn it into this canine drug trafficking thing, like, all because you can't get an address on me, bitch. Like, what the so the whole situation just really doesn't make any sense to me. The first officer is probably incredibly stupid because for some reason just assumed that I was on drugs or I was trafficking drugs. I don't know. And the second officer just wanted to go right off the bat and believe his dumb. And you can tell by the way the second officer is talking to me that he thinks something sketchy is going on, and he's already in his mind settled on the fact that I'm doing something I'm not supposed to, even though they didn't find shit on me. Within this 35-minute stop, one officer rolls up on me, another one rolls, and you call a freaking third canine on me. You asked me to step out of my car. It's been a whole 30 minutes. I got pulled over for driving slow and not using a turn signal, and you turned what could have been a 5 to 10 minute stop into a 30-minute stop with 3 officers and a freaking dog. I'm not anti-cop or anything like that, but this is the kind of stuff people are talking about. You pulled me over for driving slow and not using a turn signal, and then you tried to accuse me indirectly of trafficking drugs when you had no real reason to believe it. And I sat there with a smirk on my face as that dog went around my vehicle twice and then didn't find shit. Like, you literally just wasted 30 minutes of you and two other officers' time and didn't find shit. You look dumb, Officer Nick Dit's balls, and the other dude. Like, you're really out here trying to make someone seem like they're being sketch. Then you're over here asking people several times, what are you doing in Westchester? What do you do? What does it matter? Like, if I want to come to Westchester and just drive and drive and drive, like, I'm going to do that as long as I'm not breaking the law. Like they're over here trying to talk to me like I'm stupid and like I'm doing some sketchy stuff. Like, I got pulled over for driving slow and not using a turn signal, and it ends up being 3 officers and a canine, and I'm sitting on the side of the road and people are driving by and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I don't have a dent on my background. Really? Anyways, I just wanted to tell you guys this story that happened of me getting pulled over by the police, and also to let you know, every time that I have an interaction with a police officer, I'm going to record it, because it's always, after I got over this stuff, I just couldn't help but laugh. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, you really thought I was trafficking drugs either into Westchester or through. Anybody that's familiar with Westchester knows that it is booming right now and they are building crap left and right. I guarantee you, if Westchester, people were bringing drugs into Westchester, the rich would not be moving to Westchester. So the fact that he tried to make it seem like, oh, lots of people traffic drugs through here. Oh, okay, all right. And you just wasted taxpayers' dollars and wasted all of y'all's time because you wanted to turn not using a turn signal into trafficking drugs. Like, anyways, that's it for this video. If you guys like it, give it a thumbs up. Technically my 3rd experience with police while living in my car. 2nd one I made a YouTube video about, so that's it. Yeah. Have a great day. Peace.